Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your 2022 12-month forecast. We're going to pick one card for each month of 2022. This is going to be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I'm not making this about love. I'm not like focusing only on love. I'm focusing on all areas of life. So if anything comes in around love, we're going to be open to that, and we're going to include the Venus collective as well. So let's go ahead and see what's happening for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the year of 2022. I'm going to pull one card for each month, 4 months at a time. Please show us January. Please show us February. Please show us March. Please show us March. Please show us March. Please show us April. April, please. All right. Now, you may be hearing snoring in the background. I recently rescued a very large doggy, and he's very attached to me, so you might be hearing him in the back. I do apologize if that bothers you, but it is what it is, my dears. The first card that's coming up here is a Major Arcana card for January. February, my, Saggies. March. Ooh. And yowza. Yowza, Sagittarius. April. Holy cannoli. All right. Now, those of you that watch my videos, you've heard me talk about back-to-back Major Arcana cards before. In general, Major Arcana cards are going to come up anytime that we're at like a significant new chapter in our life, and the situation that we're dealing with is directly connected to something we came here to accomplish, something we came here to learn, something we came here to master. So it's like a pretty big time in our life. When we have Major Arcana cards come in back to back, this can indicate clearing out past karma, past contracts. For me, in my readings, when I have Major Arcana cards coming in back to back, your whole first quarter here is Major Arcana. This tells me that there's going to be a lot of changes in a short period of time. There's a lot of it's like this fast track spiritual evolution. It's like this hyperdrive of evolving or raising your frequency, raising your vibration. A lot of people are talking about switching over into 5D, and I don't know how you want to say it. I don't know what terminology you're comfortable with. Awakening, evolving. This is like, the whole, like new light age. This is the new renaissance that we're coming into. So it doesn't surprise me to see like this rapid evolution coming in the beginning part of 2022. And Sagittarius, in the weekly forecast that I do on the channel, towards the end of the 2021 calendar year, you guys have been having an ongoing theme of really big shifts, breaking out of long time blockages, breaking out of generational curses. So as you're going into 2022, you're going in full speed ahead. Like, you're not wasting any time. You're like, okay, the energy has shifted. Things have changed. This is it. This is my chance. This is my time. I'm going for it. I'm doing this. January, you have the Emperor. Okay. Now, this can indicate divine masculine energy. Traditionally, a lot of people are going to see the Emperor and think of the divine masculine. You may be stepping into divine masculine energy and embodying that divine masculine energy. You may be calling in divine masculine energy. You may be also here with the Emperor coming into a time of structure. Okay, structure, discipline, plans. The Emperor is somebody who has failed and gotten back up and gotten better and done better each and every single time. So I do feel the Emperor coming back here or coming up here in January is some kind of a comeback for some of you. like people had written you off. People are like, oh, well, you wasted or you squandered your life, or, you took this chance in the past and it didn't work out and it's over for you. And you're like, here I am, like the song Return of the Mac. I'm hearing the song Return of the Mac in my head. So for some of you, January is going to be some kind of a comeback. This is a general reading, so I'm telling you all of the energies I feel around the card. The other energy that I do feel for some of you is the energy of connecting with your father's side of the family. So you might be receiving messages from your ancestors who've passed on from your father's side. If you have a father or father figure or grandfather who has passed on, they may be coming in, they may be guiding you, you may be having messages of them, or messages from them coming in through your dreams specifically. These might be like dream visitations. So you may want to keep like a little journal or notebook or something by your bed, on your nightstand, if you have a nightstand by your bed. I keep meaning to get a nightstand and I never do. So I don't know, maybe you're like me, you don't have a nightstand. But you might want to keep a little notebook or something in case you have a dream and you can jot it down. And don't worry if it's not super elaborate, because if you're like half asleep and you wake up and you write something, it might not make a lot of sense because you're half asleep. But pay attention more to the words. Okay, what might this word mean? Maybe you're not going to wake up and look at it and have full, like, structured sentences, but pay attention to the words. And then you might be able to recall the dream itself. And then you can, when you're awake, journal about the actual dream. So this is something that's going to be helpful for a lot of you in terms of receiving messages or guidance. I also feel some of you are coming into, even though the Empress is not a card, or I can't talk. The Emperor is not a card of like inheritance. I do feel for some of you there's something here around an inheritance or something somebody is passing down to you. You may have somebody who's being incredibly generous and saying, hey, you know what? I'm closing my doors after 50 years and I never had children. I never had kids. I hate all my exes and I want this to continue. I want this to live on after I'm gone. So I want to hand it over to you. Maybe somebody is gifting you a business. Maybe somebody is handing it over to you at like a dirt cheap price. There could be something here where you're receiving an inheritance where you're not even like blood related to this person. I feel this could be happening for some of you Sagittarius. Knock on wood, you lucky Sagittarius. I mean, how wonderful. I hope that happens for every single one of you. But I do feel that message coming in for some of the Sagittarius collective. Your next card coming in here for February is the World. And the World is going to be overcoming obstacles and challenges because you've completed the karmic cycles. You're never going to have to repeat it again. You learned whatever you had to learn. You did whatever you had to do. And now is your chance to shine and to move on. There can be an element of travel here with the World card as well. Traditionally speaking, the World card can come in with the energy of not having to repeat past experiences that keep repeating specifically. For me, the World card also has with it an element of being really comfortable in your own skin, falling in love with yourself, like feeling ready to emerge. So maybe some of you Sagittarius have had some things that you've been putting off because you felt kind of like insecure, or there was something that you were struggling with in your self-image, and you may be realizing, you know what? I am perfectly fine the way that I am. I am more than fine. I'm fine, like we used to say back in the day. I might be dating myself, right? Some of you might remember, oh, he's fine, she's fine. You're like, I'm fine the way I am. And so you might be not, like, you're coming out of that insecurity, and you're allowing yourself to go for something or to put yourself out there. For some of you, this could be putting yourself out there on the internet. Okay, whether it's a dating profile, God help you, I'm not a fan of online dating. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work. I know people, I have friends who have met and are happily married who've met online. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but my gosh, sometimes it could feel like rummaging through the 99-cent DVDs at Walmart in the big old bin. But my gosh, you know, for some of you, it could be putting yourself out there on the internet. If you are, just be patient, right? If you feel like that is the only means to meet somebody, just be patient and give it time. Because like I said, maybe you feel like you're rummaging through the 99-cent DVD bin at Walmart, but eventually you get deep enough under, you're going to find something that you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe they have this here, right? So just be patient with the process. Don't expect everyone to be a diamond. Other ones of you might be putting yourself out there on the internet in terms of, like, maybe you're starting a YouTube channel or a blog or something having to do with a message you're wanting to get across, or a story you're wanting to share, or a journey that you're wanting to share. So I feel some of you are putting yourself out there very publicly on the internet, and that this may be very successful for you and go very well for you. Again, these are major arcana cards. So the major arcana cards come up when we are being guided to do something. We're here to master it. We're here to learn it. And for some of you, there could be significant online exposure, attention, success online for Sagittarius in February. As we're coming into March, we have the Judgment card. And this can be big decisions, big choices. This can be making big life decisions and choices as far as like what direction you're going to go in. This could be a big crossroads for some of you. Judgment card can also indicate answering a calling. You're feeling called or guided to do something. The Judgment card sometimes comes up for me in readings or situations where you might be trying to help somebody, right? Like you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, or you feel maybe bad for them because you feel like they're injured or they're wounded or they're not quite awake yet. And you have this mentality, you have this mindset of, you know what, it's okay. I'm going to love this person back to being well or to being high vibration. I'm going to keep the vibration really high. I'm going to bring them up where I'm at. But sometimes the Judgment card comes in to tell me in a reading that it's going to be the other way around. No matter how high you keep the vibe, no matter how much love you put into the person or the situation or support or belief, it doesn't have to be romantic love. This could be a friend that you know that's kind of like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, and you're trying to encourage them and motivate them. You know, it could be any kind of situation where you're trying to lift somebody up. But what's happening over time is they're bringing you down. They're bringing you down. So it's like you can't do it. You can't have that, lifting them up to your vibration. So you might be having to make a decision. Am I going to hold on to this connection? Am I going to hold on to this relationship? Or am I going to focus on the path that I'm meant to be on? For some of you, it might be becoming a bit of a distraction. And you're going to have to choose left or right here as we're in the month of March. April, we have the Empress. Now, this could indicate Taurus or Libra energy. The Empress has both Libra and Empress. Libra is the air element, obviously, and Taurus is the earth element. I forgot to mention with the Emperor here in the beginning of the year, has Scorpio and Aries energy with the Emperor, right? So maybe some of you are on that Scorpio Sagittarius cusp, and you may be feeling those Scorpio vibes very strongly, energy very strongly in January. That would especially be for those of you who feel like you're coming into the comeback. If that part resonated for you, where I was talking about Return of the Mac, Scorpio is the Phoenix rising of the zodiac. And maybe you don't have a Scorpio placement, but you may be tapping into that Phoenix rising energy. You cannot hold me down. You cannot keep me down. You're going to watch me rise up and do even better. You're going to watch me and see me really come back. Some of you are in that energy in January. Coming back here to April, the Empress. So now I really love how we're starting with the Emperor, and then we have the Empress here, right? And in between these two things, we have the World and the Judgment card. This makes me feel like some of you have been trying so hard to manifest like a divine masculine, divine feminine kind of relationship. And Spirit is saying that the two things that are coming up here is to let go of what's not serving you, right? Not to entertain the old karma, not to be lifting up the people that are bringing you down. Embrace your path, answer your calling, do the things you're feeling guided to do, and you will be together, you will be joined. That's what's in between the divine masculine and the divine feminine right now for some of you. Now, the Empress here can be one of my self-employment cards from time to time, as can the Emperor. So some of you might be having a lot of ideas and making a lot of plans in the beginning part of the year, and as you come into April, you're giving birth to it, right? Like it's coming into fruition. You're seeing it take shape. You're seeing it become a reality, right? So you might be making some business plans or money moves, and then in April, you're actually seeing it flourish or come to light, come alive. There's a sense of life and fertility with the Empress. For some of you, this can be literal pregnancy or adopting a child, adopting babies. There could be a sense of motherhood here with the Empress. And some of you maybe are connecting more deeply with your mother, or now you're receiving messages from your mother's side of the family. Again, the same thing I said about the Emperor. You can be sure to like pay attention to the dreams that you're having and the messages that might be coming in, and writing them down if you wake up in the middle of the night, and paying attention to little keywords that you might have there. But there can definitely be messages coming in for you from your mother's side of the family. Now we're going to pull cards for the next 4 months. Please show us May 2022. Please show us June 2022. Please show us July 2022. Please show us August 2022. So we have the Seven of Swords. We have the Seven of Cups. Interesting. Woohoo, the plot thickens. I was going to compare another 7, but we have the Knight of Swords. Not surprising. Still good stuff. Aha. And the King of Wands. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now for the month of May, you have the Seven of Swords. This can indicate for some of you that you're going to be making these steps or taking these steps quietly without drawing attention to yourself. This can sometimes be like the quiet escape or the quiet getaway, or, you have these big plans, you're working on these big things, but you're not talking about it. You're just doing it in silence. And then letting everybody be surprised when you complete whatever it is that you're working on. Seven of Swords can also be, though, that we need to be a little bit cautious. We need to be careful. We may be dealing with opportunistic people or situations. This is going to be especially true for those of you making a comeback or having a big shift in terms of your successes. Pay attention in the month of May for anybody or close to it. It could be just before, it could be towards, the tail end of April. Anybody that you've known for a while that didn't take any interest in you. And now all of a sudden, they want to work with you. They want to collaborate with you. They want to be your friend. They want to grab coffee or grab dinner. Or all of a sudden, they want to date you. Because you might be on this, actually not you might be, you are. Because the cards are telling me you're going to be. You're going to be on this threshold just before a really massive takeoff. I don't know if people still use the expression glow up, but that glow up or that big success, that big come up, you're very, 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 very close to really big things coming in. And you might have someone around you who is no dummy. They're very observant. And they can see the changes in you. They can tell the changes, especially on social media. They can see that the kinds of things you're posting on social media are more positive. They might notice that you might be picking up some new friends here and there. They might notice that, something is being mentioned in between comments and they're like, oh, Sagittarius is onto something. Sagittarius has some stuff going on. Well, let me get in good now. That way, when, the gravy train pulls up, I can say, oh, well, Sagittarius, I was with you before all this stuff happened. I'm a real friend, or I'm interested in you for the right reasons. I'm not like all these other fake people. They didn't care about you, and then all of a sudden the success came in, and they want to act like they care about you. I'm not like those fake users. Yeah, they are. They just got there first. They just could tell ahead of time what was about to happen, and they came swooping in. So pay attention for anybody who you've had them on your friends list. They've been around in the background. You've been around in the background. They've never really shown much interest, but now all of a sudden they're showing interest. Pay attention to that. Now, this could be different in some circumstances. Like maybe this is somebody that was married and they got divorced, or they were in a relationship and they broke up with the person. That's a little bit different. That could just be a situation of timing. But someone that didn't have any obstacle to get to know you or to give you a piece of their time, now all of a sudden they're paying attention to you. Be cautious of that. Those of you who are coming up in terms of career and business, be careful what you're sharing with people. They might be trying to steal your ideas. Some of you might heard of me talk about Seven of Swords in terms of sabotage in a workplace, where somebody on purpose is giving you false information so that you can mess up. And then when you get in trouble, you can say, well, I didn't know that's what so-and-so told me to do. And they can say, no, Sagittarius, I didn't say that. You misunderstood me. Sometimes there could be those kinds of situations. And I always say, follow it up with an email. Hey, thanks for, giving me this assignment. I appreciate it. Looking forward to getting started on it. Per our conversation, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Go ahead and document what they told you to do, what they said the steps were. And they might not answer you. They might not reply. But then when your supervisor comes in all upset, Sagittarius, why on earth would you do it this way? And you say, well, that's what they told me to do. And that person has the audacity to say, no, Sagittarius, that's what you understood, but that's not what I told you to do. You can say, well, but I emailed you and you never responded. Let me go ahead and print out that email. Let me go into my little sent folder, click print. Oh, here it is. How come you didn't correct me? I told you that's what I understood. Right? Don't rely on your notes. Some of you are like, well, I'm going to take notes and I'm going to write it down and then I'm going to show my notes and I'm going to say, well, it's right here in my notes. They told me to do it that way. No, because they might say, no, I never said that. You understood me wrong. You heard me wrong. But if you have it in the email, that's going to force them to either write you back and tell you the correct way or ignore it. But either way, you're going to have your back covered. That, okay, well, this is what I heard. And when I ran it by you, you didn't correct me. Right? So that kind of situation, covering your back, having your own back, being able to watch yourself. Be careful of ideas that you're sharing, especially those of you that are doing things in terms of entrepreneurship, or if you work in a workplace where the place is built up on ideas. Maybe you guys have a lot of team meetings and they see who has what idea and you guys kind of like brainstorm. Be careful what you're sharing with people. Because somebody might be like, oh, well, that's not a good idea, or that's not going to work. But they want to steal it and they want to use it for themselves. So be cautious of what you're sharing. Okay? Some of you are coming out of a very difficult time where life has just been absolute hell. And now you have these little rays of light poking through. And you're so excited and you're starting to see progress. Be careful who you share this progress with in April. Because there's going to be people who want to come in and discourage you. Because they're so negative. You have this happy little beautiful candle that's lit and you're just in awe of the flame and it's giving you hope and it's giving you inspiration. And they just want to come up and blow it out. Don't let them. Don't let them. Protect your little flame. Protect your little candle. And you could do this by not trying to convince people that you're progressing. Oh, you know what? I that job I really wanted that I applied for, they called me back and they finally offered me an interview. You know, I'm so excited. I didn't think that I was going to hear from them. Oh, well, you know, it's just an interview. I wouldn't get your hopes up. You know, there's probably a lot of other people out there looking for work right now. A lot of them might have more experience than you. And didn't you say you applied to that job like, 3 weeks ago? That means that you're on the interview list, but they have you way at the bottom, which is not true. But I've had people tell me that, and that was really discouraging, right? They might say any kind of nasty little thing to discourage you because they're miserable and misery loves company. Right? Or, oh, remember how I said I wanted to start my own business? I actually got some orders today. I got some customers today. Oh, that's great. I hope you can get in 100 more this month if you plan on quitting your job. They just might say really negative things. Don't try to share your joy with people who are just going to take a dump all over it. They don't deserve your joy. They don't deserve it. So protect your candle, protect your flame so that these negative people don't come in and, block out all this light that's starting to pour into your life. Your next card here for June is the 7 of Cups. Now we have 7 back to back, 7, 7. 7 is being emphasized, and 7 is the number that comes in when our angels and guides are communicating with us through our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings, our intuition, okay? Our intuition. It's that gut feeling. This is a time to listen to your gut. As you're coming into the summer and you have decisions to make, you have to listen to what your instinct is telling you. Your intuition, your gut feeling has figured out what your eyes haven't been able to see yet. Okay, and the best example that I can give you, when I learned this fun animal fact, it blew me away, but it also made me think so much about intuition and about how sometimes people tell us that we don't know what we're talking about, but we feel or we sense something. I found out that alligators, just before a hurricane comes, apparently just before the hurricane, right, the weather is very calm. Things are very calm. The hurricane kind of seems to come out of nowhere. But the alligators can, or crocodiles, I think crocodiles do this also, they feel the pressure changing, or they feel that calmness and they're like, wait a minute, like something's coming. They can feel and they can sense that there's a storm on the way, even though there's not a single cloud in the sky, and they bury themselves under the mud, and they hunker down and they stay there till after the hurricane passes. They instinctively know something's up, time to take cover. Their gut feels it, even before the clouds show up, even before the first drop of rain falls. Okay, that doesn't mean to say you have to listen to your intuition because there are storms coming. It can be blessings. It can be how to be at the right place at the right time. It doesn't have to be storms and hurricanes, but you need to listen to your intuition. People always ask me, how can I strengthen my intuition? How can I have a stronger intuition? Step 1 is to do your healing work, and your intuition begins to activate. Step 2 is take steps. Listen to the intuition when you have a feeling, and that way you're strengthening it like a muscle, because you're getting to keep working it. So be sure you're listening to your intuition coming into the summertime. 7 of Cups, some of you feel like you're dreaming. This feels like a dream come true. You can't believe that things are going well. Some of you are going to have to be very cautious of negative ego, because this is the time negative ego likes to creep in and convince you that you don't know what you're doing, and that you're getting your hopes up and it's not going to work out, and things just never work out for you, and why would this be any different? When you find yourself thinking these thoughts, know that you are so close to a massive breakthrough. Negative ego hates change, even when the change is good, so it's going to come in very negative. It's going to come in very negative, and it's going to do whatever it can to try to stop you from showing up for your blessing. Negative ego, dark energies, dark, icky energies and things and entities, they cannot keep God or the universe from handing us our blessing, but they can mess with us enough to convince us not to show up for when the blessing is being handed out. And so some of you need to be aware of this, especially coming into the summertime or just before the summertime. Be aware of your thoughts, and when you find yourself feeling discouraged or doubtful or fearful, say, wow, I must be really close to a really big breakthrough. That negative ego is messing with me in this way. I do feel also that for some of you, when the negative ego doesn't work, like when the negative thoughts doesn't work, it may kind of manifest itself with the people around you, the same way this dragon lizard looking thing is going through the cups. I feel like you have these cups, you have these blessings, you have these opportunities and options, but there are people not letting you at the cups, or discouraging you from reaching the cups by scaring you, right? This guy might be scared that, if I reach for this cup, this thing's going to snap at me and try to bite off my hand. So they might tell you, harm is going to come to you if you do this. This isn't going to work out for you. It's going to be an absolute failure, right? Or this might happen, or that might happen. They're just coming in with fear. Be aware of this. When we overcome the negative ego and we don't listen to the negative ego, we might have people outside of us beginning to try to put fear in our head. They don't realize they're being influenced by lower energy. Okay? So just be aware of this, Sagittarius. As we're coming now here into July, we have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords can be drama, arguments. I feel this is more catty people who are being haters, for those of you who do have dramatic or arguing energy around you. But for the majority of you, I feel Knight of Swords is things being sped up, things being expedited, things happening very quickly. I feel like it's you charging ahead. It's like you're sucking it up and you're like, you know what? I remember Amethyst said in the video about the negative ego, I've heard Amethyst say before that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is proceeding despite the fear, and despite of the fear, moving forward anyway. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do this. That's what I feel when I see the Knight of Swords. You're like, I'm going to cut through any obstacle. I'm going to make this happen. I'm believing in myself and charging ahead. And now we have here in August, you guys, right? This is that beautiful fire energy, that Sagittarius energy, the King of Wands. King of Wands is a self-made man. King of Wands is successful and didn't have a single thing handed to him. Nobody gave him anything. But he made it happen when there weren't opportunities. Okay? Now I'm going to say something, and I've said this to the other signs, and I'm encouraging everybody to look at this. And I'm not saying it in a doomsday scary kind of way. I don't want people panicking or taking it as fear-mongering. I took a break a while back, and I didn't do yearly forecasts back in 2020, and I had talked about how things that came to me in meditation, and I said there's going to be an issue with the supply chain, there's going to be a disruption with the supply chain. make sure you start stocking up, right? Inflation, things are going to be happening. Some people heard me say that and they panicked. And I had people accuse me of being a fearmonger and I don't know what. And these things are happening. In some areas, it's hard to find certain things, right? It's hard to find certain goods. And so we also have inflation going up, and maybe it's becoming a little bit more expensive. But if you have a little extra canned goods in your pantry, or you have a little extra meat in your freezer, and you're having a hard week and you can't believe that bread is costing however much it's costing, or meat is costing however much it's costing, and you gotta make some budget cuts before you get into the checkout line, at least you've got a little extra at home that you got before. And I say this because if you pay attention to what the economic experts are forecasting, not me, but economic experts, they're predicting pretty ridiculous inflation. Inflation is like the cost of living going up. So if you have a little extra and things start being a little bit expensive or hard to find, you're not going to be freaking out. You're not going to be worried. So it might be a good idea just to see what the financial experts are saying about things that they're predicting for 2022 so that we can be ready for it, right? The same way you might watch the news and the weatherman might say, oh, there's a blizzard coming, there's a snowstorm coming, so you might make sure you have a little extra water. You might make sure that you have cash on hand if you need it. You might make sure you have, whatever you need in the house to keep you warm and cozy and hunkered down. Right? It's not fear-mongering. It's preparing for that climate so that we don't have to be afraid when it happens, so that we're nice and secure when it happens. That being said, my dog is snoring. We talk about being safe and secure, right? He's safe and secure. That's giving us confirmation, right? Whatever can be happening out there, you're going to be good. You're not losing sleep over it, Sagittarius. Which brings me to the next message. Despite these economic challenges that are coming in, King of Wands, I read a background story of King of Wands one time that said that there weren't any jobs, there weren't any opportunities, and he made opportunities. He figured out ways that needs needed to be fulfilled in the community, and he fulfilled those needs, and he had abundance come to him as a result, and people were so impressed. They're like, hey, we need you to be king. We need you to show us the way. We need you to teach us. You're really smart. You'd be a really great leader. So despite of the hardships that might be happening economically, Sagittarius, I feel like a lot of you are going to be opportunists in a positive way, and you're going to see opportunities. You're going to see a chance to break out of it. You're going to see a way to fulfill certain needs or bring about certain services that are going to bring you abundance. Okay? So even though it might be like challenging times, you're finding a way to work within those challenging times and to come out on top and to come out successful, right? This is the King of Wands here, is very successful, comes up with creative solutions, very charismatic, very passionate, very fiery. So I also feel some of you may have some time off, and you're not sweating it, you're not worried about it, and you might be putting this time into creative projects that are going to be, helping you make a career change in the not so distant future and bring in some income as well. All right, let's see the next 4 months. Please show us September 2022. Please show us October 2022. Please show us November 2022. And please show us December 2022. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Tower. We have the Five of Pentacles. And we have the King of Swords. So Knight of Pentacles is commitment, success, focus. In September, you're being encouraged to keep your focus and to stay consistent. Knight of Pentacles says that the key to our success is consistency. Every day you're taking a single step forward, at least a single step. If you can take a couple more, by all means, go ahead. But it's doing one thing each day to stay focused and working towards the goal. And before you know it, you've covered a lot of ground. The Knight of Pentacles might not be the fastest moving knight in the tarot, but he's definitely the most reliable. And that consistency is going to bring about change. You may be coming out of that Knight of Swords energy, that King of Wands energy, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I've got to slow it down here a bit, right? A part of you might be really, really tempted to fall into that hustle mindset where it's like, you know, oh, sleep when I'm dead. I hate that. I hate that saying. It doesn't have to be hustle, hustle, hustle. We want to be in the flow. We want earning to be easy. We want reserving to be easy. We want spending to be enjoyable. So I feel as we're coming into September, some of you are realizing that you need to have, excuse me, you need to have some balance here. Like instead of being in the Knight of Swords, charging ahead, it's like, okay, I got to get grounded. I got to get balanced. I got to do this at a rate that I can keep it up, or I'm not going to lose my stamina. So I do feel also things like scheduling, looking at your scheduling. When are you going to do certain things? You know, so that you're not burning the candle at both ends. Maybe in the past you've done that, and maybe that's why things didn't work out. We have here October, the Tower, and this is going to be a paradigm shift, an awakening. You know, we can't unsee what we've seen. A lot of the times the Tower card comes in to break us out of a situation that's been trying to hold us back, or that we've been afraid, we've been using it as a safety net or a security net, or we've been afraid to lose it. And so we've just kind of held on, and we've used it as a distraction from doing the things that we're being guided to do. If you have been procrastinating looking for a new job, or if you're like, oh yeah, you know what, all this stuff sounds great, and I really would like to find a job where I'm going to succeed like that, or I really would like to be self-employed and have that kind of success. The Tower card is telling you if you don't get on it towards the end of the year, October, November, you're going to wish you had started. Because to have the Tower card coming in here with the Five of Pentacles makes me feel like there is going to be a shock in a work situation, right? Some of you might be working in a job where you're on some kind of a strike. As I said, some of you are going to have some time off, and you're going to be using that time for creative projects or business ideas, and it's going to be abundant for you. And you're going to be so glad you did, because you might be finding out that even though historically unions tend to come to agreements, there might not be an agreement. The union might tell you, we're done, we're not going back. And then what are you going to do? Or the company tells you, oh, we're just restructuring stuff. We're just merging with this other business, and we're just going to get things figured out, and we're going to have a little bit of a break here for a couple of weeks, and then you're finding out the people that were in your company aren't coming back. That company that did the merger is going to keep their people. So I feel like what the cards are saying, those of you who are feeling like, oh, I think I want to find another job, or oh, I keep meaning to start this, side business, you're going to really wish you had, as we're coming into the fall, moving into the winter, towards the end of the year, you're going to really wish you had started on it by the end of the year if you hadn't. In fact, I feel like you guys are going to have success as you're coming into the summer. Like mid-year, June, July, mid-year. But if you don't, and you're just delaying, procrastinating, then by the end of the year, there might be bad news coming in here around career and around finances, to have the Tower with the Five of Pentacles. Now, Five of Pentacles does have a silver lining, because it does give us the sense and the feeling of our true blue friends, people who have our back, people who are going to be with us through the hard times. Okay, so you're not going to be completely and totally abandoned. You will rebuild. You will have support. If it's somebody opening up their home to you and saying, hey, why don't you come stay with me? Or I have some work I might be able to give you, or I might be able to get you into where I'm at. And there might be something coming in, but Five of Pentacles tells us it still might be challenging. Five of Pentacles isn't exactly an abundant energy or an abundant card. So you're not going to be abandoned, but you're going to face challenges. And challenges will be coming in towards the end of the year. If you're listening to your intuition, and if you're taking the steps you're feeling guided to take in the beginning of the year, then when all this stuff happens at the end of the year, you're ready. You have your parachute. You're like, see you later, suckers. Have a nice life. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm prepared. It's smooth sailing for me. I'm not even worried about this. So make sure that you're taking those steps you're feeling guided to take. Your outcome here is the King of Swords. Okay? King of Swords can be negotiations, contracts. Some of you might be negotiating some kind of a severance. King of Swords can also be making decisions that are fair and logical instead of allowing emotion to cloud your judgment. And the King of Swords can be consulting an expert about a situation. So maybe some of you are having to get educated. Maybe you're needing some guidance on these goals that you're working on as you're becoming more serious about them. Okay? This could be an air sign person, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. If you have an air sign placement, this aspect of yourself might be coming to the surface, and you're going to be able to work with that part of yourself in your decision-making process and in the things that you're trying to accomplish in the year. Overall, Sagittarius, I feel you guys have a very powerful, unstoppable energy. It's important that you make use of it because things are going to be challenging towards the end of the year. But if you've made use of that beautiful energy, and if you've prepared and if you've been listening to your intuition, you're going to be fine. You're going to be like a little alligator who's just snug and happy as can be under the mud, just having a nice little nap, not worrying about anything while the hurricane is blowing over. He's going to come out after like, oh, what? Did something happen? Did I miss it? Okay, so listen to your intuition. You may want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus sign. Sometimes that might resonate more than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Have a wonderful 2022, my dears. Take care.